Assalamu alaikum everyone, hope you are doing well. In today's class I'm gonna discuss with you question number 4 of June 2024 exam series, and this video is for AS Economics paper 2 section C. Right, so what was the statement of question? Statement of question was, question number 4 was, part A was, with a diagram, explain the circular flow of income in an open economy and consider the extent to which it can explain the economic growth in an economy. And the second part of the same question, question number 4 was, assess whether supply side policy is the most effective policy to achieve long run economic growth. So I'm going to discuss with you how to solve these questions. So first of all, in question part A, what you have to do is you have to give assessment objective 1, assessment objective 2, and assessment objective 3. So these are 3 assessment objectives. Assessment objective 1 carries 3 marks, assessment objective 2 carries 3 marks, and assessment objective 3 carries 2 marks. So this is the scheme of marks for this question. For assessment objective 1, you have to give knowledge, basic knowledge. So what is the basic knowledge here? That is circular flow of income. You will have to define what circular flow of income is, what an open economy is, and what economic growth means. Right, so this is the part of assessment objective 1, that is a basic economic knowledge. And then analysis. For analysis, you have to make the diagram that will show the circular flow of income in an open economy, and as an evaluation you will have to say that how or to what extent like circular flow of income explains economic growth in an open economy, and then you have to conclude your discussion. Okay, so what is circular flow of income? First of all, you will define that circular flow of income is a simple model that explains or shows the movement of income from one like economic agent to another economic agent, such as from households to the firms, government, and the financial sector. Circular flow of income shows that resources as well as the goods and services move anti-clockwise, while like money moves clockwise. Right, so then you will have to make the diagram for that as well. So what will be the diagram? Let me show you that diagram. You will have to like write households here, households, and then you have to write firms, right? So money flows between households and firms. For example, households have the factors of production including land, labor, capital, right? So households will provide these land, labor, capital to the firms, and firms will produce goods and services, and these goods and services will be sold to the households. So this is kind of anti-clockwise movement where resources, that is factors of production, land, labor, capital, and goods and services move anti-clockwise. So this movement is anti-clockwise. This kind of movement is clockwise. So now we will move to the second thing, that is like movement of money, right? So how income flows between these two economic agents. Households will buy goods and services and they will pay price of these goods and services to the firms. So money will flow from the households to the firms, and firms basically got land, labor, capital from the households, and they will have to, firms will have to pay rent for land, wages for labor, and interest for capital, and money will flow back to the households. So this kind of movement is clockwise movement, right? So money moves clockwise and factors of production and goods and services move clockwise, anti-clockwise. So this is the diagram, and in an open economy there will be some leakages and injections as well, because open economy is a type of economy that is involved in international trade. So like including all these movements of money and factors of production, there will be some leakages and injections, right? So what are the leakages? Leakages are the ways through which money outflows from this circular flow of income. And then what injections are? Injections are the ways through which money is injected into this circular flow of income. So this is injection, right? So injections are the ways through which money flows into this circular flow of income. So what are those ways of injections and leakages in four-sector economy? In four-sector economy, leakages take place when people save money. So the first kind of leakage is saving, and like firms or households both may save money in the financial sector. And the second thing is taxes. If these households pay taxes to the government, then again money will outflow from the circle of income. And then is imports. Imports mean when we buy goods from other countries, then we will have to pay to the other country, and again money will outflow from the circular flow of income. And injections are the methods through which cash is injected or money is injected into this circular flow of income. Like whatever was saved by the people, now if they invest it into the businesses, then investment will lead to injections into the circular flow of income. Government took taxes and government can now spend it, so government expenditure will also be an injection. And instead of imports, if we start exporting goods to the other countries, then it will lead to inflow of money into the circular flow of income, because when we export in an open economy, it leads to inflow of money into the country. Okay, so this is the part of some part of the economic analysis as well, assessment objective 1 and assessment objective 2. So now you can describe this movement of leakages and injections. Whatever I was saying, that is the explanation of the circular flow of income, and you have to write all that. And now moving to the extent to which it can explain economic growth, right? Economic growth is basically the rise in real GDP per capita over time in an economy, and economic growth leads to increase in national income of the country or GDP of the country in an open economy. So circular flow of income explains economic growth, because if government expenditure are increasing, it will result in increase in employment in the country. So as a result, overall GDP of the country will increase. Similarly, circular flow of income in an economy, in an open economy, also explains the economic growth, because if investors invest more money into the business, that is shown with the circular flow of income, then it will lead to sometimes multiple times increase in GDP of the country and accelerate economic growth in the country. Consumer spending also explains that overall aggregate demand in the economy will rise, and when aggregate demand increases, it will lead to economic growth, right? And now moving to the other thing, the extent, you will have to focus on extent. You may say that circular flow of income, now you have to write against whatever you have written in analysis part. You will say that circular flow of income may not explain economic growth in an open economy in true sense, because circular flow of income just considers the movement of income between households, firms, government and the financial sector, and it ignores many other things that can influence economic growth in an economy, such as there may be some natural disasters occurring in an economy, there may be wars between countries, and there may be many other things, many other factors like environmental factors that may maybe against the sustainability and inequality of income. It is not also not covered in like circular flow of income. So circular flow of income ignores many factors that actually affect economic growth of an economy, but they are not included in circular flow of income. Then you will have to as a summary, you will have to conclude this. You can say that as per the above discussion, you can say that in conclusion, the circular flow of income in an open economy illustrates the interdependence between different sectors, and such as like households, firms, and the government, different economic agents or actors as well. You can use the word economic actors as well. However, a comprehensive understanding of economic growth requires considering many additional factors that keep happening in the real world, such as like economic like political conditions, economic conditions, like climatic change, wars and earthquake, etc., happening in the country. So this will be the end of like this answer, right? So to get full marks, you have to cover all of these things. Now moving to the second part, that is assess whether supply side policy is the most effective policy to achieve long run economic growth. Again, you have to focus on three assessment objectives: assessment objective 1, assessment objective 2, and assessment objective 3. In like 12 mark question, assessment objective 1 and 2 collectively carry 14 marks, carry 8 marks, and assessment objective 3 carries 4 marks, right? So this is how you can get full marks, 12 out of 12. For assessment objective 1, again you have to give the basic knowledge, and in assessment objective 2 you have to give analysis, and assessment objective 3 you have to give evaluation. So for knowledge part, you have to explain what supply side policy is and what long run economic growth is. And in analysis part, you will focus on how supply side policy can achieve long run economic growth. So you have to explain any three policies effectively and like completely and thoroughly. And on the other hand, you have to evaluate those policies. You will say that these policies might not achieve long run economic growth because of like policy failures. How policy fails, I'm going to explain that as well. And at the end, you can suggest that like along with supply side policy, government should focus on demand side policies of fiscal and monetary policies as well, that may be like that may further support the supply side policy for its success. If supply side policy is basically helpful to achieve economic growth, but the other two policies, demand side policies including fiscal and monetary policies, if they are not well aligned with supply side policy, then supply side policy may fail to achieve economic growth. And at the end, you have to give conclusion. Okay, so now moving to the exact answer, what should you write in your answer? So first of all, you have to define what economic growth is. Economic growth is the rise in real GDP per capita over time, and long run economic growth is also known as potential economic growth, and it is achieved when it is achieved there will be increase in quantity and quality of resources, leading to a rightward shift in the production possibility curve. So for this you have to like make the diagram as well, long run economic growth, and that diagram looks like this. You can write origin point here, and we have like one sector here, like let's say we talk about agriculture sector. So on X we have agriculture sector or agriculture industry, and on Y-axis we have industrial sector. So these are two types of sectors or industries in an economy. So initially PPC is, let's say, OAB, and in long run economic growth PPC completely shifts to the right from AB to A1 B1. So this is this is called long run economic growth or potential economic growth, and it is achieved through like through increase in investment, improvement in technology, and it may be because of discovery of new natural resources, right? So these are multiple factors that may education and training of workers also leads to rightward shift in the PPC and results in potential economic growth. And students may also make aggregate demand aggregate supply diagram as well, to like you need not to make both the diagrams because it will lead to a very huge answer. But if you are you have good writing speed, then you may make this as well. Otherwise, like just make one diagram, that would be enough. Okay, so long run aggregate supply curve is horizontal straight line initially, then it would be positively sloped like this, and then it will be a vertical straight line as per the Keynesian school of thought. So this is long run aggregate supply curve. And you can make aggregate demand curve a normal aggregate demand curve that is negatively sloped. However, like it has no like impact here. So the main impact is shown for long run economic growth through long run aggregate supply curve. So now long run economic growth will lead to a rightward shift in long run aggregate supply curve. So you have to extend this like horizontal part, and then you can add the positively sloped part again, and then make it a vertical straight line. So this is long run aggregate supply curve 1 that has shifted to the right. So full employment level was initially at this point, let's say at point E. Now it will move to E1. So rightward shift in the full employment level is basically showing long run economic growth. Okay, so you will make one of these two graphs, or if you are like good at writing, then you may make both graphs as well. Okay, so now moving to the other thing, analysis part. In analysis, yes, you have to like explain what supply side policy is in assessment objective 1 part. Supply side policy is the policy of the government that is like aimed at increasing aggregate supply in the economy and achieving economic growth and increasing employment and controlling inflation in the country. And supply side policy includes multiple policies or tools, including like subsidy, right? So the tools of supply side policy include subsidy, and then is education and training of workers, and there are many other like things as well, like deregulation of monopoly, trade union reforms. Let's assume we can like add one more factor, trade union reforms, or capital expenditure of the government on long-term projects, capital expenditure. So we can focus on these three main policies of supply side policy that can achieve long run economic growth. Okay, so subsidy is the financial support that is provided by the government to the private firms so that they invest more money into the new businesses, and as a result economic growth is achieved because GDP of the country will increase and more jobs are created. As a second point, you will again say that education and training provided by the government through supply side policy will also make workers more efficient and productive. So as a result they will be able to produce more in lesser period of time. So efficiency and productivity will increase, and overall GDP of the country may rise, and people will be able to get jobs, because sometimes people are out of jobs because they don't have sufficient knowledge and training for certain jobs. So when government provides education and training, then they will be able to get jobs easily. Capital expenditure are the government expenditure that are incurred on long-term projects such as construction of roads, buildings, bridges, ports, seaports, that will lead to creation of jobs and increase economic activity in the country and increase aggregate supply, causing economic growth in the long run. So this will be the analysis part, and now you have to move to the evaluation part. And now you will say, on the other hand, supply side policy is not the most effective policy to achieve long run economic growth, because subsidy provide. Now you will have to talk against these three policies that you have analyzed already, right? So if government provides subsidy to the private sector, then private sector may misuse it, or it may not be used for the said purpose, right? And it also increases inefficiency of firms as well, because when they are compensated through subsidy by the government, then they think that they need not to be most effective and efficient, so they lose efficiency. So as a result, economic growth may not be achieved. And education and training provided by the government free of cost to the workers may be taken as for granted, because workers may not learn the new skills because they are not paying for it. So government is funding it, like in the UK there is like skill development agency that spends a lot of money for education and training, but workers don't learn the new skills. So all the money invested by the government for education and training of workers may be wasted, and it will not help to achieve long run economic growth. And now you have to talk against capital expenditure of the government. Capital expenditure of the government are sometimes focused on more on like political gain instead of achieving economic growth. So they may not be like done like in a good manner that can achieve economic growth and increase employment in the country. So all funds may be wasted and may not achieve economic growth. So this is you have how you can evaluate this, and at the end you will suggest some other policies. You will say that since supply side policies are not always the most effective policies to achieve economic growth, rather government should also these policies should also accompany the demand side policies, including fiscal and monetary policies, where government can reduce taxes on private investors so that they invest more, and government can, through central bank, it can reduce interest rate so that more people can get loans and they can invest into the new businesses and increase economic growth of the country. And then you have to conclude your discussion. In conclusion, you will say that in conclusion, supply side policy is a very good policy to achieve economic growth, especially in the long run. However, this policy may not always be the most effective policy, because through this policy funds may be wasted for the political gain, and they may be wasted on education and training of workers, for which workers are really reluctant to learn the new skill. Okay, so this is a complete answer to question number 4 part B, and in the next video I'll explain you question number 5 of section C that is showing on the screen right now. So if you are interested to watch this video as well, then stay tuned. See you soon, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.